Hey, I'm Chris with Mobility Solutions, carryonusa.com, and we're going to kind of go over how to change out the timeout board on your GB-120. If you're getting a 4-beep code, this could be the problem. These aren't that expensive, but it is a little bit of work to change them out. So, for example, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use some needle nose pliers and a Phillips head screwdriver. Again, remove the battery when you're working on this. Obviously, you would have the seat off, have this down, and you're going to come to the back of this board. So I'm just going to loosen these thumb screws and come out. So inside of here, you're going to see your controller. All this is really plug and play. So what we're going to do is just unplug this, unplug this, and when you get here, they might be a little tight. If they're not, when you come back in, tighten them, push the little connectors down. If you can't just get those right off, I kind of move these to the side because there's 2 positive and negative cords back here. You have a double line or 2 wires on the right side ones and single on the left. So we'll just get that out. And again, if you have to use some pliers, just use some pliers and try to grab it at that metal to bring it up. So we got to unscrew this. Underneath this screw, there's a nut that's going to fall out. But when you put that back in, just make sure you get that in because you won't be able to tighten that screw up. So this one's kind of easy to do. So just loosen the screw. There's a little, and then there's one other, so there's 2. And pull this out. All right, so this is what we want to change. We want to change this board. You can look at it and see if there's like water down in here, if water's sat down here, whatever. Once you pull this out, or you can kind of check, make sure nothing looks burnt up in here. But all this is plug and play. So just undo everything, all the cords that they have. Okay. So now we got to get this out. The problem is there's a little nut right here on both sides. So you're going to have to tip this on its side. And below here, that's where your screwdriver can go. So if you can get your screwdriver there, get over here. All right, so now I got the screws and the nuts done. I'm going to pull this out. Now this is a little, it should just come right out, but for some reason it's not. So if this happens to you, there you go. So it's kind of glued. I mean, this looks a little dirty. It's probably fine on this particular unit, but what you're going to look for is a lot of stuff that could be messed up in here. And then what you'll do is you'll come back, grab your new board and set it back in. Plug everything up, and then put the screws in by repeat the process, and then put your controller back on. That should fix the problem. But what I would do here is I would go ahead and plug stuff up, and then plug all this up before you screw everything down and see if it's giving you that 4 fault code with doing that replacement. But that's how you change out the timing board. Also, it's how you remove your modular, which is easier than removing the timing board. When you put this modular back in though, once all this is back together, when you put this back in, these screws, you gotta have the nut. So up underneath here, you're gonna have to, it's got the indentation. See how come over here, Scott? You see that? It's still there. So like if you're screwing it back in, maybe put your hand right here and hold it for a second once you get everything in there, and then screw it in so it doesn't fall out. Once you grab it, then you can let go of your finger.